Brian, your organization deals with a variety of different religions, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Talk about that.
But the organization, I run a center that promotes religious literacy, understanding of different religions, because it's something we're not knowledgeable about. And obviously that starts to impact how people think about, the willingness to donate.
Are there any myths that you would want to, or is a significant myth you'd want to put out to our great colleagues who have joined us this morning that you say, you know what? Somehow based on some religious belief, misconception, whatever, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I'd say is that we have a tendency to categorize people, to say, this person belongs to this tradition, and I've heard they say no. Or sometimes maybe you've already had 5 or 6 or 7 families from that tradition, and they all said no, and so you think they say no. But people aren't categories, right? They have their individual life experiences. Their understanding of their faith may be different than the previous 8 families. Maybe their mom was a donor recipient, an organ recipient. And so even if the other 7 families said no, you don't know that family 8 will say no. Basically, all religions either tend to support it, or there are some that sort of leave it to the individual. There's none that say explicitly no. That doesn't mean that the common belief might not be that there's opposition, but generally they either support it, the major ones, or sometimes they leave it to the individual.
Yeah?
Yeah, so there's no clear no's.
So someone says, oh, it's my religion, I can't, you say?
Well, I mean, obviously it would depend which religion, but in every religion there are prominent voices in that tradition that will say, yes, you can. Even religions that are often associated with saying no, some of which I'll talk about in my breakout session later. People often, the funny thing about religion is even people who are quite pious and devout, this is an area where people sometimes aren't super well informed, because you learn your religion as a child from your mom and your dad, and they don't sit there when you're 10 and talk to you about organ donation. It's not a topic.
So let me play this out for a second. All 3 of our kids are in CCD, one age or another. You don't think it's coming up? You don't think organ tissue donation is coming up?
Yeah, I think it often doesn't, either with parents or with religious leaders. If there's a sermon on a Friday, they're talking about other things, they're not talking about this. So when this issue comes up, and of course the moment is fraught with tension and you have to decide now, there's a lot of sort of popular beliefs within the tradition that can carry the day, and sometimes people don't know that experts in the tradition have thought about this and have given it a green light. It can be an area where even the devout aren't always aware that there's been a lot of thinking within the tradition about it.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me because one of our sons who's 15 has just entered a parochial high school that's very big on ethics, morals, teaching these young men, because it's an all-boys school, Catholic school. I did the same thing as a kid. I went to an all-boys Catholic school.